Okay, well, this is Susie. It's Saturday. I'm doing another video. I'm still just sitting here. This one's funny and creepy and funny and creepy, yeah. So, I'm gonna name this one the Wiener Suitcase. Probably not appropriate for kids, but anyway, here goes. So, I pick up a bus load of people, and I'm taking them out to this neighborhood that's way on the west side of town. And most of my passengers got off, and it ends up that when I turn this corner, I have a 10 minutes time spot where I just sit there, and there's one guy on the bus, and he'd gotten on. He had his rolling suitcase. He had grocery bags of stuff, a lot of stuff, more than you should, but you know. He's got to get it home, so whatever. So we get to this stop, and this guy he's really getting antsy, and he's like, he keeps telling me, can't you just go? Like, I just need to get home. I'm like, no, I can't. I have to sit here. We have this many minutes left. And he's really getting uptight, and like, he pulls out a cigarette, and he puts it in his mouth, and I'm just kind of looking at him like, all right, dude, whatever. Then he pulls out a book of matches. He pulls out a match, rips it out of the book, and he looks like he's getting ready to light it. I'm like, dude, sir, don't light that cigarette on my bus. And he's like, man, I want a cigarette. I need to have a cigarette. I'm like, I'm sitting there for a second, and I'm thinking, we're sitting here, we have a few minutes. I'm like, sir, you know, I'll just open the door. You can get out. You could go have that cigarette, and then, you know, get back on the bus when it's time, and we'll get you home. And I'm very confident that this guy had been drinking. There's a lot of drinking going on in Lincoln, Nebraska, I guess. Drinking Lincoln. I don't know. What do you do? So I tell him now, and he's like, oh, I could get out. Yes. You hop off the bus, go smoke that cigarette, and when it's time to go, I'll let you know. And so I get out of my seat, and I sit down in the row of seats facing the window, is facing the same side where he is, and this guy is standing there. He's smoking his cigarette, and he's just kind of staring at me in a weird way. I have my phone. I'm playing a game. I have sunglasses on, so he can't see if I'm looking at him or not, but, you know, I kept looking up, you know, and then I'm looking at my game, and I look up, and I'm looking at my game, and he's finally, he gets done with his cigarette, and he tosses it, so there goes the cigarette. But then he's standing there, and I could tell by his hand movement that he's messing around in his nether region. And then I'm just gonna say, you could tell by his actions, he was peeing on the bus. The man was peeing on my bus. I don't know if he actually got pee on the bus, but he was peeing, and he had to go. Well, he went, and the whole time he's looking at me, and it's weirding me out. But then he does the behavior of putting the wiener back, and yeah. But then he stands there and he stares at me some more. And next thing you know, he's doing these weird gestures, like I could tell that his arm is moving again at his nether region. And that's when I was like, I got up, I turned around, I want no part of that mess. And so I go, and I get back in my seat, and it's just about time to go. So he gets on the bus, and one of the first things he does is he grabs the handle of the suitcase, and he's moving the suitcase around because he hasn't secured it, which, you know, we're not supposed to anyway. But he grabbed the handle of the suitcase, moving his groceries around. He's only got maybe 2 minutes left on the bus, maybe 3 before I drop him off. And so I'm climbing up the hill, and I'm really weirded out. Oh, and another thing, when he got back in the bus and I was ready to start going, he's standing right there at the yellow line. First, he's standing on my side of the yellow line. I'm like, sir, you have to be behind the yellow line. You have to be. And so he steps right behind the yellow line, not an inch further, and he's just standing there. He smells bad. Like, he smells of cigarettes, and like he smells like old cigarettes. That, you know, that specific smell is just terrible. And he's like breathing, he's doing this nasally breathing, like a person who smoked for a long time, their sinuses are plugged, whatever, and they do this sinus breathing, and it's gross. And he's breathing heavy, and it's just so weird. And I can't wait to get this guy off of my bus. So when we get to the top of the hill and he's pulling the cord, he's like, I want off right here. And it's not at a bus stop, but I'm like, you know what? Cool, yes, you could get off the bus right there. I stop that bus, open the doors, he grabs his stuff and he heads out. And I am so relieved that he's not on my bus anymore, because like I said, he weirded me out. So I get going and I'm heading on my way, and next thing you know, this suitcase comes rolling up. It stops right beside me. This big rolling suitcase just slams against the wall right beside me, startles me to death. And that's his suitcase. He forgot it. He left it on the bus. I'm looking, I'm like, I'm not touching that. I know that the hands that were on the wiener have been on the handle of the suitcase, and I'm not doing that. I'm not touching the wiener suitcase. That's when I decided that's what it's going to be. That's the wiener suitcase. I'm not touching it. So I use my feet and I gotta push it along, and I nudge it around and I get it over to an area. There's nobody else on my bus, and this is my last run for the day, by the way. So I get the tie downs and I secure that suitcase so that it doesn't roll around anymore, and I just secure it, and then I am on my way. And when I get back to the bus station, I pull in, park my bus, and I go in and I tell dispatch, because you're supposed to, if something like that happens. So I tell them what happened, and I tell them that the wiener suitcase is still on the bus and I'm not touching it. And it became such a weird thing. And so when somebody leaves something on the bus, it'll stay downstairs for a little bit, maybe a day or whatever, give people a chance to come and get it. After that, it goes upstairs to the lost and found. Now, this suitcase had groceries in it. I know that it had groceries in it because you could see some of them sticking out the top. And I think you'd gone to one of those food giveaways where they give out produce and all that, because that's what I saw was produce. Like, I don't know, this plastic thing full of like spinach or lettuce. I don't know, whatever. I went upstairs several days later. I just happened to go up there for whatever reason. And there it was. The wiener suitcase is still upstairs with the groceries just rotting, and this poor woman having to be there in the office with the stinky wiener suitcase. And the reason that they even let it just sit there is because they were waiting for this guy to come and claim it, because once they claimed it, then once he claimed it, they would know who he was, and then they could do something about the indecent exposure. I don't know how it ever turned out. All I know is that I had the case of the wiener suitcase, and yeah, I'll never forget that one. It's funny. I mean, yeah, he was indecently exposing, but I never saw the wiener. I know what he was doing, but I never saw it. And so, a little less permanent scarring for me. So, yeah, but that's the case of the wiener suitcase. So now you know. Alright, this is Susie. I'm gonna end this video. Remember, sprinkle kindness like glitter. Spread it wherever you can. Any chance you have to be kind, be kind. Alright, guys. Again, have a good weekend.